unlike many of its role-playing contemporaries at the time, which were downright Tolkien-esque in their storytelling ambitions, Secret of Mana kept it simple. You follow a goofy trio of odd duck characters, Randi, Primm, and Popoi, as they combat an evil empire trying to resurrect a giant floating battleship called the Mana Fortress, powered by the magical energy of mana. Unfortunately, the jump to 3D wasn't a smooth, or memorable, one. The original game eked out much of its charm from a cute and memorable virtual world stitched together by vibrant 2D pixels. The remake offers equally vivid colors, but they're offset by occasionally blurry textures and oversized, bobblehead characters whose mouths don't move, even during conversations. It's not a deal breaker, but the 3D characters lack the charm of their pixel-based counterparts, which compensated for the technological limitations of the Super Nintendo console with simple, yet effective animations that still charm to this day. The combat in Secret of Mana is also a mixed bag. One of the original's best features was that combat occurred in real time, instead of waiting your turn to attack as you did in those early Final Fantasy games. You could hack and slash away as you saw fit. Again, that's still the same case here, but combat is actually harder in some cases. Characters no longer have to attack in the four cardinal directions north, south, east, west like they once did. Now, you can attack in any direction, even diagonally. That sounds like a step up from the 1993 classic in theory, but in practice, I found it harder sometimes to line up my attacks. It also transformed several areas in the game that were previously fine to get through into agonizing slogs. If you play the game in single-player mode, you're saddled with some truly dumb teammates that frequently get stuck behind walls, bushes, or some other pastel-colored shrubbery because they're not smart enough to keep up with you. Hint: try walking around the object, not through it. Yet another sign that Square Enix lost its way with this remake is the fact that you can and play cooperatively with players. That philosophy just about sums up the entire experience of playing this Secret of Mana remake, a game with some questionable design decisions that hews closely to the original in some ways and makes the jump to contemporary game design in other ways that don't actually benefit players. While other recent remakes of video game classics like Shadow of the Colossus make a terrific case for remakes in general, Secret of Mana makes a solid argument for the opposite. In this case, go find yourself a Super Nintendo and play the original. For Secret of Mana, at least, it doesn't get better than that. Reviewed for PS4. What's hot? Addictive combat, simple but endearing plot, colorful visuals. What's not? Questionable 3D design decisions, insane difficulty in some areas, teammate AI can be dumb as bricks. More from JP. JP Mangalinden is the chief tech correspondent for News Pulse Finance, covering the intersection of tech and business. Email story tips and musings to JPM at. Follow him on Twitter or Facebook. Follow News Pulse Finance on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn.